Going into Greyp T5.2, I expected more of a high-tech commuter with off-road flair, but the bike surprised me. It feels more capable on mixed terrain than I thought, though it definitely has its quirks. What stood out most wasn't just the motor or the flashy tech features, but how the whole package handled long rides with varied terrain, frame, and build quality. The T5.2 runs on an alloy frame with clean, modern lines. It feels solid without being overly stiff, which is important on longer rides when road buzz or trail chatter can wear you down. At 6 feet 0 inches and 175 pounds, I found the frame geometry comfortable, upright enough for long-distance rides, but not so slack that it felt lazy on climbs. The integrated tech, like the display and built-in sensors, is impressive, but what really matters on the trail is how the bike holds up under pressure. Compared to similarly priced trekking or YMTB hybrids like the specialized Turbo Vado or Trek All-Amp Plus, the Greyp frame doesn't feel as refined in weld finish, but it makes up for that with smart integration and a sense of durability. The rear rack mounts and fender compatibility also make it more versatile than pure trail bikes. Suspension and handling. The Greyp T5.2 runs a suspension fork with moderate travel, and while it's not a full suspension rig, it does a decent job of soaking up gravel chatter and small roots. On smoother fire roads, I rarely felt beat up, and on rolling forest paths, the fork gave me just enough confidence to stay seated over rougher patches. That said, once I hit rock gardens or sharper technical descents, the limitations were clear. The fork started to feel overwhelmed, and the geometry didn't give the same planted feel you'd get from something like a Trek Rail or Orbea Rise. Where the bike shines is in stability. The slightly longer wheelbase and balanced weight distribution make it predictable on descents. I rode a steep downhill gravel section after a rainstorm, and while the tires were sliding a bit, the frame tracked straight and didn't feel twitchy. Cornering on packed dirt was also surprisingly good. The upright position made it easy to shift weight and keep traction. Climbing is where the bike feels unique. The motor assistance combined with geometry makes seated climbing comfortable, though on really steep technical climbs, the front end can feel a little light. Compared to a pure commuter, it's night and day better on climbs and trails, but against proper trail YMTBs, it's more middle ground. Drivetrain and performance. The Greyp T5.2 uses a Shimano drivetrain paired with a mid-drive motor. On long road rides, I found the gear range more than enough. It never left me spinning out on flats or grinding on climbs. Shifting under load was smooth most of the time, though on a couple of steep gravel climbs I had to back off the pedal pressure slightly to avoid a clunky shift. That's not unusual for Shimano e-bike drivetrains, but worth noting if you're used to the snappy feel of SRAM setups on mountain bikes. The motor support feels natural. On eco mode, it just smooths out the ride and makes longer commutes less tiring. On turbo, it pulls you up climbs with ease, but it never felt jerky or unpredictable. Over the 400 miles, I didn't have any issues with reliability. No skipped gears, no battery oddities, no creaks in the drivetrain. I've had bikes in this range where the shifting went sloppy after a month, but the T5.2 held up well. Compared to similar hybrids, the Greyp's drivetrain feels robust, though not quite as sharp as higher-end systems you'll find on more trail-oriented YMTBs. Limitations and trade-offs. This isn't the bike for hardcore downhill riders or people who want to tackle technical enduro trails. The suspension fork is limited, and aggressive riders will quickly find its limits. At this price point, some components feel a step below what competitors like Specialized or Trek spec on their e-trekking bikes. And while the tech features, like the built-in connectivity, are cool, they won't matter to riders who just want pure trail performance. If your riding is mostly rugged single track, you'll be better served elsewhere. Final verdict. Buy the Greyp T5.2 if you want a versatile e-bike that blends commuting comfort with the ability to handle gravel, fire roads, and light trails. It's perfect for riders who want one bike that can do weekday rides to work and weekend exploring without swapping bikes. Skip it if you're looking for aggressive trail performance or if suspension capability is a top priority. For me, the golden rule applies. This bike made me want to ride more often, and that counts for more than any spec sheet.